Sometimes to achieve greatness, you have to wait a little bit to see where the competition is making mistakes and come up with a product that is the best of the best. Kingston Fury Renegade Gen 5 NVMe drive is finally here, guys. They are promising some crazy speeds, so let's put it through some tests and see if those are true claims or just marketing tricks. Looking for affordable Windows or Office keys? Look no further, I got you covered. Head over to scdkey.com, pick your Windows edition, use my discount code LE25 to get a 25% on any Windows or Office products. Once you complete your order, after a few seconds you will receive your code. In Windows, go to Settings, there should be an Activate Windows prompt at the bottom. Click that, enter your code and wait for Windows to finish activation. To check the activation status, use the command prompt with the command slmgr.vbs/xpr and you should receive a notification that the machine is permanently activated. Once again, use code LE25 at scdkey.com. Kingston is very late to the Gen 5 party, but from what I have seen so far that came out, this might be the very best of the best. They waited to perfect the formula. Here are some drive specs and we shall move to the tests and what matters, and I won't bother you that much with anything else. Because this is an NVMe drive, it has one job to do and it should be fast at it. The drive is a classic 2280 form factor. This model here is 4TB, meaning this is the most spec'd out variant. Controller used here is the Silicon Motion SM2508. This controller has been in the works for quite some time and it is done in 6nm lithography and is quite efficient. I dare say it's way better than the Phison E26 controller, which is outputting a lot of heat in return. This is why so many Gen 5 drives thermal throttled, especially early models. Anyhow, the SM2508 controller, PCIe Gen 5 X4 interface, 3D TLC NAND, the chips should be the Kioxia 162-layer TLC, it has DRM cache, it supports direct storage, power consumption is 7.1 up to 9.5 watts for the 4TB models, 2 and 1TB models use less energy. The drive is also single-sided, even the 4TB model, which is awesome. Kingston claims it supports speeds up to 14,800 MB per second for read and up to 14,000 MB for write, and the endurance is a whopping 4 PB of data for the 4TB model and 2 and 1 PB for the 2 and 1 TB models respectively. I have put it through several tests to see what it can do. Just for the more granular controller of what it does, I had the hardware info monitoring turned on all the time to see the speeds in real time and to monitor the temperatures. The first test was the classic crystal disk mark with NVMe SSD setting ticked. It reached a maximum of 14,480 MB for read and 13,995 MB for write. This is well within rated specs. Tests were done on the ASRock X870E Nova Wi-Fi board, by the way. And if you look at the right side of the screen, check out the speeds that hardware info recorded. 14,577 for read and 14,061 for write. This is actually above specs that Kingston listed. The maximum recorded temperature was 47 degrees. This is once again when the drive is maximally stressed out. It won't even reach 40 while in normal use. Most of the time it sits around 33 degrees, using only the motherboard's own heatsink, no active cooling. The next test is the auto disk benchmark, where you can see which speeds it reached throughout the test. But once again, take a look at what hardware info recorded. Maximum read 14,930 MB per second, which is above the listed specs once again, and 14,188 MB per second for write, which is once again going above the listed specs. Next in line, I tried the AS SSD test, which shows completely off thing recorded within the hardware info tests. It did come up with 10,752 for read and 11,455 for write, scoring 5,561 for read and 6,117 for write, with total score of 14,545. The Blackmagic disk benchmark also shows crazy values in the hardware info, while the test itself shows 10,586 MB for read and 9,557 MB per second for write. I used the copy test in Windows to see how it behaves. It's a 45 GB folder mixed with video files and pictures, 4.32 GB per second reading from it and copying to another Gen 5 drive, and 4.38 GB per second writing on the Kingston G5 drive from another Gen 5 drive. There is absolutely no stuttering while copying, no speed drops, it just goes at one single flat line of speed, temperature reaching only 36 degrees while doing so. So here is what I think about this drive. It slays, it kills, and it's cold as ice. Kingston obliterated the competition. I think that they waited this long to perfect this formula, to come up with a drive and solution that gives extremely great speeds, well above listed specs, while outputting so little heat. I mean, the heat is laughable compared to every other Gen 5 drive. I mean, they even used just a sticker here, there is no graphene cooler or such. Other Gen 5 drives, they have the Kingston's maximum temperature as their idle temperature. So once again, congrats Kingston, you have done a great job here. But the catch here is the price. 550 euros at a time of the review, backed up with a 5-year warranty, and it should be available starting from today, May 12th. And if you want the best, no compromises drive, well, this one is that drive. This is the one. Thanks for watching, guys. Be a pal, subscribe to the channel, like and share the video, and I'll see you in another one.